Evening all. So today we're going to take a look at some fittings. No action, no crazy PvP footage, no montage, and no crazy stuff. So this is really just looking at fittings. Now, what I would probably suggest is we'll use this video as an introduction, and we'll do a video perhaps on each of the major fittings. So let me show you first maybe some tips and tricks maybe to bear in mind. One of the things that I found really helped me a lot was when I got maybe a couple of million ISK saved up, what I did is I went to the skill tab and I actually bought all of the skills that I had the ability to use, and you'll see what I mean. You see there's lots of level 0, L0 ones. All I did is I just went down and purchased the skill book and in use effectively. What that did is it just loaded the skills all into my skill list, ready for then me to put points on them. I found that a massive help, so you basically don't then have to think about what am I going to train next. Anyway, let's look at some fits. Now, these are fits I use. There are many different ways to do this, but let me just explain, I think, each particular fit that I use for my suits. The first one is always generally a shotgun suit. This is using the Merc Pack Dragonfly scout suit, which is actually pretty good, although it's a bit limited on power grid. But what I've done is I fit it with a shotgun, I fit it with a damage mod, not the best damage mod yet, grenades, because obviously grenades are pretty important, and then I fit basically the mobility boosters. And what they do is they give a 5% increase to top speed. So in terms of putting 2 on them, I've then got a 10% sprint bonus, if you like. So that's a pretty decent suit. I get a lot of kills with that. Secondly, I then have a heavy suit. Now, I've got level 2 minigun, or heavy machine gun, so I've actually split out the 2 types of machine gun, and that's something you'll see me do throughout the rest of the fits. So here, this is the assault heavy rifle, and I fit a 10% damage mod on it, and this is the assault heavy machine gun. This has better range, it's a tighter shot group, but it does overheat quite quickly. It's probably my favourite of the 2. The second we'll look at in just a moment. The heavy suit has an armor wrapper, because I think there's obviously a key thing to survivability long term if you have a wrapper instead of a plate. So here you can see I've got the breach. No, it's not called the breach. What is it? Burst minigun, and that basically is almost like a shotgun minigun, if that makes sense. But we'll do a bit more of a spotlight on that another time. Always fit a forge gun. I shoot down dropships with this simple, 14k ISK suit, incredibly easily. So I think it's probably the most satisfying thing you can do in the game. So try and have a forge gun. Now, here we go. This is then probably my general day-to-day suit. I tend to favour logistics, only for the ability for the equipment that I can hold. So this is, and then you'll see there's probably 3 or 4 variants of this with the equipment mixed up. Generally, I have a armor wrapper, armor plate, and either a shield or a damage mod in the mids and the lows. But I always then run a GEC 38, because that's the assault rifle that I find pretty easy. And in this case, I've got remotes. In this case, I've got then an armor wrapper, and then generally I'll either have a proximity explosive, a medical pen, but I generally tend to have spawn pads all the time. So let me just show you something here as well. I would highly recommend you do is buy one of every module and keep going back to the market as you skill up and buying another one of those modules. So you see here, as I maybe come to replace some of the modules, I then have a full appreciation of actually everything that I can fit. Also, when it comes to naming, I'd probably recommend you name your suits very clearly. That was named pretty poorly. So a Logi with proximity, medical, and spawn. So therefore I know that's the gun. That's pretty much what I do. If I wanted to mix it up with maybe a different weapon, then obviously that would start a whole new range of suits. But I think it's worth looking at. I then have snipers, and I think the best snipers in the game are obviously logistics, and the reason being is that you can have ammo, spawn pads, and medical pens if you're actually fighting alongside someone. So to me, logistics suits are really good snipers. You do have to kind of max out their CPU to get the 10% damage mods on, but they're well worth it. And you see here I've actually got, again, 2 different fittings here. One for the charge sniper rifle, which is a very good one-hit kill weapon, but a bit difficult to use, and the other one is for the tactical, which is the other way around. Easy to hit, not always a kill every time. So and it's just depending what mood I'm in, what the kind of the way I'm feeling at the time, and then I have the ability to call in the right suit at the right time. So you see, basically just gone through shotgun, heavy, logistics, assaults, and then I have a general assault suit at the bottom, which can be just something that I just run and gun with, and then I have my predefined arbiter one there. So that's it. That's pretty much all we need to do for the fittings. What we'll do is in probably the next videos we'll look in more depth at maybe the heavy suit and perhaps a shotgun as well. But hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.